Where do I begin? Where do I honestly begin with this? The magnitude of this race. I don't even know if that's even the right word. It is just. It is a nuclear shit show. On a proportion I wasn't mentally prepared for. I was just expecting a below average race. And the first stage, that was about what I was getting. In comparison to what happened later, I would have been totally fine with a below average race, like a 3 out of 10. Because people could. There was instances where people could stay out on like 60 lap old tires or take rights and hold on to lead for a crazy amount of time. And it was just stupid, awful. I hate that. It's just. It just shows how bad dirty air is, shows how bad the tire fall off is, where it doesn't really matter. So you got that. But then we get into insanity, where the amount of tire failures is astronomically bad. So bad, I can't even remember a time where it's. I mean, 2008 Brickyard 400 comes to mind. Is it worse than that? I mean, maybe not, but the overall race itself, yes, is way worse than that, because that just had one bad element in 2008. This had so much more, from bad racing, horrific officiating, and then the tires. So it was just it's just so many layers of just crap. And I don't even know where to begin. I guess we'll just try to go from beginning to end, because honestly, we'll be here all day if I keep going back and forth. My brain is literally scrambled. I haven't felt this emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted even, since when Ignition came out. After that first night, when I realized, oh my god, there's so much wrong with this, and I that's how I feel here. That's pretty bad. So we'll just start from the beginning. We had a 40 lap green flag run. Granted, it was not crazily eventful, but that was about the literally the longest run of the entire race. I'm looking at Racing Reference now. That was, I think, the longest green flag run of the race, because everything else, the longest green flag run after that was 27 laps, from 142 to 168. Then everything else could barely go 10 laps. But just, yeah, there's instances where just certain runs it goes like 20 laps and then there's another yellow. Like, it's just absurd. The race was so fucking long, not only because of the rain delay, but just from the amount of wrecks and just tire failures. It's just, oh my god, it's just so many layers of bad. Kyle Busch has an issue. That's like our first real tire situation thing. Truex had an issue earlier. He was able to keep going. He was relatively okay after that. But we just had just tire issues after tire issues. We had something with Kyle Busch, and we had something with Bowman. And then Bowman saying, this is even before the Cody Wersa. We'll fucking get to that. But then we get the Bowman incident, and then Bowman saying, that was like the hardest hit he ever took, and that was a relatively tame hit. So again, the safety of these cars are in question. It shouldn't even be a question at this point. It is a fact they are objectively not as safe as the Gen 6 cars, and it's just unacceptable, and it's tiring to bring this up every week. But a hit like that should not make Bowman be saying that was like the worst hit he's had in his entire career. It's like that's so sad. This shit right there is why Ryan Newman retired and didn't want to go back in the Cup Series, because he said that these cars weren't safe. And look, Newman's right. He's literally being proven right, probably on every week basis. So, we got that with Bowman. It sucks for him. Stage 1 ended. It was interesting. overall, that first stage wasn't... That was like a 3 out of 10. For Texas, that's pretty goddamn good. But then we get into stage 2, and this is where everything just starts to fall apart. We got more tire issues, something with the 20 car. Chase Elliott had something go wrong. And it's... Chase Elliott, I think Chase was leading at the time, or second, but it's just absurd. Then we get into one of the biggest things, maybe at least the biggest thing up to that point. Cody Ware's massive hit into the outside wall. His car basically hits the outside wall, comes back down the track, almost hits the opening in the inside wall. He was about maybe 2 feet, maybe even a foot. I don't know. It was really close to his front of his car just hitting that. It was like Mark Martin 2012 Michigan vibes. Except that could have been through the front of the nose, or it could have just went past it and hit a freaking pit box. Extremely thankful that it didn't happen, because that could have been just even more disastrous. But the fact that really messed Cody Ware up. He barely got out of the car under his own power. He was trying to walk and just fell. I don't know what exactly happened. They're saying there's no reports of broken anything, but then we got NASCAR Twitter where somebody's faking reports, which is fucking disgusting. Like, why would you do that? Like, that is just absolutely appalling. So, and then again, safety of these cars in fucking question. It's unacceptable that this shit should be happening. I get it. Racing's inherently dangerous. But when you make a car that's inherently not that great at safety, we got Kurt Busch that's out of the fucking season because of that shit. The multiple drivers throughout the season have been saying it time and time and time again. And then this happens. Does someone have to fucking die for something to change? I thought we were past this shit. I lost Dale Earnhardt Sr. because of that garbage. It's sad. It's really just disgusting. It really fucking pisses me off. It's just... And there's someone on Twitter that was making the comparison of Michael McDowell's Texas wreck. That's not a good comparison. That wreck is not nearly as bad as people think. It was a severe hit, but the way the car dispersed the energy, it wasn't as bad as it actually seemed, because he hit the wall and the car just it kept going. Cody Ware's thing, he hit the wall and it was just, but not like a literal stop, but it was a solid hit. And the energy didn't disperse, and these cars are made so in a way where they don't crumble properly. Like the Xfinity cars, I think, are way safer. I don't know what exactly they use. I know they use the composite bodies for that, but the Xfinity series has that perfect balance of they are composite bodies, but they do crumble, and I think they're much safer than the Cup cars. Gregson was even saying he doesn't even want to run the rest of the Cup Series season because he just wants to focus on Xfinity, and probably because too that these cars aren't, he doesn't want to jeopardize his championship season because of these cars, safety. And it's like, yeah, I hate them, fuck them, but that's a good point. I don't blame him in that one instance. So that kind of says something. That says a lot, at least there. He would rather just focus on his Xfinity series rather than double dipping and getting more Cup experience. So that says a lot. So it angers me. It pisses me off. It's just, once again, this discussion about the safety of these cars. And I mean, this wreck is more in a comparison to like Jimmy Johnson's wreck at Charlotte in 2011, the Coke 600, I believe, or even the fall. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the fall one, where he hit the outside wall. He overcorrected to hit the outside wall, and he was fine afterwards. That's like probably the best or the closest comparison to that. But yeah, it's just tired of these issues. I'm tired of this fucking happening. And it's just disgusting that, so many drivers have been pointing it out and like nothing's being done about it. It's really just sad. Thankfully he's okay. That's the biggest thing. Obviously after that, we had the Chase Elliott incident. He was running, I think, second at the time. Buescher spun out, but that was not really a tire issue. Good save for him though, but got another instance where and then after that, Chase's car explodes. And it's like, well, then what is the safety team took a little bit to get there, not egregiously long, but there was another instance earlier in the race where I think it was Harrison Burton's car. There's fire, and like no one was doing anything about it. It's like they're just standing there. It's like there's a fucking fire, and another crew guy's like still trying to get the tire on. It's like, do fucking something. Don't just sit there. Like, you don't fuck with fire. Just like, oh my god, it's just so many layers of bad and just awful. I mean, my god. So, and then the last stage comes around, and it's just like, it goes into full dumbass mode. I mean, we got rain, which was weird. There was like sprinkling, but that's like, NASCAR did something okay today. They didn't let the drivers go out when it was sprinkling. I'm not going to give this race a 10 out of 10 for that. But that's like that one little pinch of salt of good in a sea of just like pepper. I don't know. That's nice. I'm not going to freaking give this a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to give this a good rating just because that one little tiny thing that should be common fucking sense. But hey, they did something all right. Holy shit. But yeah, so after that, then it just kept happening. It was basically a trend for a while. Harvick would lead, and then his tire would go. Truex took the lead. Then his tire went. It's Russian roulette, or it's RNG, random number generator of just people getting a lead, exploding, or some random person exploding their tire, or just spinning out. And it's just, something's at fucking blame. I don't know what it is. Is it the car? Is it the tires? Is it Goodyear? I don't know. Goodyear didn't really, or whoever was the president of Goodyear made there was like a Twitter video about it, and he did not look very comfortable even saying anything. But so that's already bad enough. A racing package was below average, well below average, better than the All-Star race, but this race is much worse than the All-Star race because there's so many different layers of bad. The All-Star race just had like 2 or 3. This felt like it had 5 or 6. I don't know. It's just it's close. The sad thing is, if it's better or worse than the All-Star race, it's not by much. It's not much better. It's not much worse than that. I don't know what the hell it could be, but all I know in my heart, in my soul, is it's bad. So we got just tire incidents just again and again, and it's just embarrassing. This is Brickyard 2008 levels of bad with the tire failures. I mean, I don't think it's close to that because there have been at least a few runs that went on more than 10 laps, but it's pretty goddamn close. I'm looking at Racing Reference. I mean, there's a string here where 5 laps, or not 5 laps, but like there was 5 laps, and then there was 10, then there was 8. Like, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a fucking mess. It's an unequivalent bastardization of this. And I love that we get to do a playoff format where one person could have just a freak accident happen, like their tire exploding. Like poor Chase Elliott, who's been the point leader the whole season, could potentially get cucked out of this round because of this. And the championship. That's fucking great. I would love for that to happen to kind of expose how stupid this format is, but you know, I can dream. But it's just embarrassing. Just an embarrassing front on all fronts with that. I didn't even get into the Byron Hamlin incident. We'll get to that. Again, so many layers of bad. It was a disaster on almost every level. A failure on every level. And I mean, I got some notes here because let's get into the fucking thing with NBC having awful camera angles for the tire failures. With how many of them that happen, they're either really far away, low resolution, unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. The camera work was just atrocious to try to show us these incidents, whether they're happening literally as it's happening or after the fact. So that was atrocious and just annoying. So we're not even getting really good angles of what's even fucking happening half the damn time. Then we got Ty Gibbs hitting Ty Dillon on pit road. This has been under the radar and honestly should be a fucking penalty. And I'll explain why. So something happened between Ty Dillon and Ty Gibbs. I think Ty Dillon might have gotten out of pit road and hit him. Not intentionally. But what does Ty Gibbs do? Just doors him. He doors him to the left very bluntly, very obviously. And that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And fucking dangerous and just disgusting. I'll start to like him, but fuck him now. That's disgusting. That's just egregious. You know, we've seen what happens when two cars get together on fucking pit road. Do we have to go? Do we need to bring up the 1990 Atlanta pit road incident? Because this is why we have pit road speed limit and everything to fucking begin, because of that. You don't do payback on fucking pit road. Absolutely egregious. I don't even like Ty Dillon, but in this instance, yeah, he didn't do anything. He just got a pit road and there was contact. Shit like that happens. You don't retaliate on pit road. You don't do that shit. That's disgusting. That is absolutely appalling, and that should have been a fucking penalty when it comes to that. The pit crew members are way more at risk on a week-to-week basis than these Cup guys, and that is so needless. It's so just disgusting, disrespectful, reckless, and awful. Totally inexcusable. That's awful. Then we'll get to the William Byron and Hamlin thing. So, off turn 2, Hamlin basically pinched Byron to the wall. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know. I doubt it. Everybody was running off turn 2 very aggressively and everything. So I would personally think it's more of a hard racing type of thing. And again, I want to make this clear. I have no fanboy cap. I don't care about either of these drivers. So I got nothing at stake here. I'm just looking at this objectively as possible, but as objectively as I can. And I'm putting that perspective in there. And when I try to make these videos and I do analysis and stuff, I take the fanboy cap off. There is no fanboy cap. And I look at things and I'll be like, you know what? Even if I like a driver, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, that's bullshit. I was starting to like Ty Gibbs, but that's bullshit. I can't defend that. That is inexcusable and disgusting. So the Hamlin Byron thing. So Hamlin puts Byron in the wall. I don't think it was intentionally. I think it's just a product of just hard racing, just how stupid Texas is off that corner, and I don't think there was anything malicious there. And Byron, understandably, is upset. I get that. I'm fine with him being upset about that. And he needs to have a backbone. I'm fine with that. Because after all he did what Logano did, he didn't really do anything about it. He did nothing about it. So I'm fine with him being upset and maybe paying Hamlin back in some capacity. What isn't cool and what is fucked up is he did it after the yellow was out. That's disgusting. In the same race, in the same goddamn race that Cody Ware got hurt, and when we've known forever that these cars are dangerous, he does that. That is inexcusable. And that is a piece of shit move. And this isn't the first time Byron's done something like this. People may have forgotten. But back years ago, there was a clip of Byron and iRacing. Somebody shared this on Twitter. And after the race was done, Byron chased the car down and ran into him. Almost sort of like what happened here. So I'm not going to buy the bullshit of, oh, he didn't know. I'm not going to be like Dale Jr. and be like, you know what? He could just plead he didn't know. That's bullshit. He knew. There was even in-car camera that knew. The yellow was out for quite a bit and just ran him over. That's disgusting. And Hamlin loses his positions for that, which is, bullshit because, oh, he didn't keep his track position. He didn't keep minimal speed. It was like, yeah, he got fucking turned. I get it. Rules are rules. But if you're going to do, fuck over Hamlin, fuck up Byron, penalize him, park him. I don't know if parking him, but put him 2 laps down. Do whatever. Just don't do nothing. That sends the message that if you don't like a driver, you could just dump him under yellow. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. I don't like either driver. And I get Byron being upset, but that's not how you fucking do it. You don't do that shit. I'm not going to buy the thing that, oh yeah, he No, I think in an interview, I think he admitted to it, but he was trying to lie it at first, but that doesn't make it any better. It's disgusting. And I didn't really care too much for Byron before because of the iRacing thing. But yeah, this kind of solidifies it. This is kind of why I don't like Chase Briscoe, because he did the same bullshit in iRacing where this is in 2020 Phoenix, where in iRacing in the Xfinity cars, he spun out. He like self-spun late in the race to get fresh tires and try to do something with that in the iRacing thing. I don't know if it. I remember I was in that race with him. I remember him doing that. And then in the real life race, he did the same exact shit, which is fucking disgusting. So, don't have any respect for him. And he's a bonehead and an idiot. So, yeah. But, just unacceptable and garbage. And again, this is one of those cases where NASCAR should step the fuck in, put your big boy pants on, and be like, hey, that crosses the line. You can't do that. That's disgusting. The fact they did nothing about it. And now this almost sends the message of, hey, you could just dump someone under yellow and it's fine. That's horseshit. And Byron's a piece of shit for that. I'm not gonna defend that. It's okay to be mad about what happened. I would be too. But that's not how you get your revenge. You do that either on track or you do that shit after the fucking race. Hamlin's a soy boy beta cuck who won't fight back, so Byron, you literally can just win by just approaching him, and Hamlin will shit himself, because Hamlin could say a lot of stuff, but he's not very confrontational enough to, like, he's just a soy boy cuck. So this is what happens. This is what happens when you get two soy boy cucks battling it out, and it's just awkward flailing of their hands. I don't know. It's just awful. It's so bad. So many layers of just incompetence from the officials. And then, after the race, Scott Miller, the god himself, says that, oh, we did not see that. We didn't see that incident with Hamlin and Byron. We got a fucking thing on the back straightaway that's like a massive fucking TV. That's like half the back straightaway, or all the back straightaway. I don't know how fucking big it is. It's 500 feet. A massive TV, and you can't see, like, on the replays that was happening. That is, it's just bullshit. Even if it's not bullshit, that is just completely irresponsible and just unprofessional and just terrible to just miss something like that and not acknowledge it and do nothing about it at any point in the fucking race itself. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable, pathetic. Get Scott Miller the absolute hell out of that booth and put someone else in there that maybe could see where shit is happening. That's just ridiculous. And then NBC didn't even have a good angle of that to begin with. Like, they had a low res static shit. It's just like, how do you miss something on the front straightaway? It's just like, oh my god. It's so, I keep saying it. It's I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just embarrassing. It's sad. And when we get good races, it's fucking awesome. But when we get bad races like this, I mean, it was a slog. It was a pain to get through. Bristol didn't feel as painful as this, probably because it's not nearly as long, but it was grueling. It was painful to watch. It was just exhausting because we just got tire failures and people getting screwed out of races because of that. Not because of not because, they pitted one lap before someone else, or, they just got passed under green. No, it's just of circumstances and situations that were out of their control. And Kyle Busch, I mean, he hit the wall pretty goddamn hard. Like, these cars aren't as safe as they've been before, so any hits really are a concern. So this just amplified it to such a just, god damn, it's disgusting. This was a fucking disgusting race, a disgrace of the sport. I'm giving this a 0. I'm giving this a fucking 0. Maybe I would have given it a 2. But fuck it, this gets a 0. I don't give many zeros. Maybe I have, but I think there's maybe 3 this year I have. But This was one of those instances where this does not deserve any merit. I'm not going to give this a 0.5 because they decided not to let the drivers race the rain. They waited on that. That's good. But when you have a sea of bad, that just suffocates and drowns that out. And that's not even like that's just a common sense thing that should be expected. That shouldn't be something that we should fucking praise over. Oh God, my brain hurts. I'm so drained. I'm so physically exhausted. Mentally, I guess physically a little. Mentally exhausting of watching this. This was already gonna be a long race already because it was 500 miles. I'm not advocating to lower it or anything. I would like it to be 400 miles because fuck Texas, but there's a whole other thing with Texas. They want to try to make it into Atlanta, which is awful. It's stupid. Hell no. They already bastardized Atlanta. Put it back to the original mile and a half format before 2016. There you go. You will already have better racing. But yeah, this was just unacceptable, bad, disgusting. So many drivers showed out their pettiness, like Byron, like Ty Gibbs, and fuck them for being such pieces of shit and doing that. Especially in a race, like in Byron's case, where literally Cody Ware got fucking injured, and you're gonna just turn him on the front straightaway, and it's just, you don't do that shit. You don't do that under yellow. People got fucking penalized for that in the past. Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch got parked for that. Johnny Sauter and Austin Hill, when there was a turn under yellow, they parked them, or they did something pretty severe. Here they did nothing. Another consistency of being inconsistent. It's just appalling and completely disgusting and a horrific look on the sport. After this, just embarrassing on so many fronts, and I'm just disgusted with it. Let's fucking move on. Go to Talladega. Have that be an absolute shit show where more drivers are going to be at risk. I guess someone has to fucking die. Someone has to take one for the team. Who wants to die at Talladega? Get your freaking popsicle sticks and pick one out. And see which one's the longest so you can win and die. Because apparently that's what it has to take for something to change. And it's sad because we've been through this shit with Dale Sr. That was already bad enough because so many other people had fatalities prior to that, and their lackadaisical, lazy approach of trying to, doing stuff. And we're like, history is repeating itself. And it's so sad. I thought we were well beyond this. And it's just disgusting, awful. And, especially for me that likes Kurt Busch, he's out of the potential whole season because of this shit. And nothing was really seemed to be done. So it's just awful. I'm just disgusted. I'm appalled. And that was just an absolute complete disgrace of racing on so many levels, from the dirty air being awful, the tire failures, the officiating, the safety of the cars, and they should be fucking embarrassed. Will they admit something? I don't know. Probably not, because they think everything's fucking great when clearly something's wrong. I can't sit here and be happy or in a good mood when a race this bad occurs, when so much goes wrong. You could say if this is better or worse than the All-Star race, I don't care. This is bad. Bad knows no rating. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My foot is falling asleep. That's how bad my body is falling apart trying to comprehend this race. It's literally all the blood circulation is fuck it. We don't need the legs. Put it all in the chest because we can't do this anymore. So now my foot's asleep. God damn it, NASCAR. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm done. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry to be salty. I'm sorry. I can't accept trash. I'm venting. I'm angry about it because I do care. There is some part of me in this cold heart that cares. It wants better. And so much needs to be done. This car, while it can produce, good racing at times, in terms of a safety aspect, it is a complete and utter objective failure. And that is just unacceptable. And that's it. I'm done. So much went wrong. What do I say? I'm done. Have a good fucking day. I'm going. I'm done.